Yo, what it do? Good morning, and it's time for a pre-market PulseScan with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave price trigger reports that we put right in your hand each and every trading day. All right, so without further ado, let's take a look at these overnight markets. First, starting with the Dow. Dow futures are down 4 points at 25,965. The NASDAQ 100 is up 66 points at 10,728 and a quarter. Even the S&P 500 is at 3168 half, up 5. The Russell My Hustle is up 1.2 points at 1424.30. Bitcoin futures composite index is at 94.70, down 40 bucks. Nat gas up 4 cents at $1.87. Crude oil down 10 cents, trading at $40.80 a barrel. The long bond is up 2.30 seconds, trading at 179 even. Gold is down $1.10, trading at $1,819.30 an ounce. Silver is up 19 cents, trading at $19.35 per ounce. US dollar index down another 6 pips at 96.36. The euro dollar is up 9 pips, trading at 113.62. Pound sterling is up 37 pips at 126.64. The Aussie is up 5 pips at 69.89. Canadian dollar is down 9 pips at 135.05. Euro yen up 7 pips at 121.62. And dollar yen is off 5 pips at 107.21. And the Kiwi is up 13 pips this morning at 65.89. We got soybeans rallying this morning, up 8.5, trading at 905 3/4. Corn rallying, up 5 3/4 points at 360 even. And corn is also rallying up 4 at 520 half. All right, so it looks like the commodities are getting a little boost here this morning because of what's happening with the U.S. dollar's weakness. Smash that like button if you're in the live chat right now. What up, V-Dub? What up, Luz? What up, Nathan? What up, Kyle? Hey, man, you know what we do and how we do it up in here. It's time to look at some news. So let's see what's going on with the market news this morning. All right, so from around the world, we got this. Chinese tech stock Quantum C-Tech skyrocketed 924% on its trading debut, breaking the record for a first-day gain. Quantum C-Tech issued its shares at 36.18 won, which is $5.18 a share each, and they soared more than tenfold to close north of 371. The stunning increase boosted the group's market capitalization from the won equivalent of $414 million to over $4.2 billion. Wow. Billionaire investor Mark Lasry says the Fed's rampant stimulus makes 2020 a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for investors as the U.S. economy is fundamentally fine. The Fed pouring trillions of dollars to shore up markets has in fact made coronavirus a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, billionaire investor Mark Lasry says. UBS has compiled an investing playbook for all the possible election outcomes. Yeah, you know how well that went. Let's say this says they have 6 trades that it recommends to profit from a Trump triumph and 10 for a Biden blue wave. People complain about the length of U.S. political campaigns, but in 2020, they might actually be a welcome distraction. 174 units with no prior experience. Here's the creative real estate investing strategy a former Marine is using to generate crazy cash flow. After 8 years in the Marine Corps, Matt DeBoth knew his life needed to move in a new direction. All right, buy these 15 stocks that are shielded from COVID-19 fallout and primed to beat the market even as virus cases spike. Evercore says several states have seen spikes in COVID-19 cases in recent weeks, raising uncertainty for investors amid fears that the economy will sustain longer-term damage. You think? The UK and Australia are investigating Clearview AI, the facial recognition firm that scrapped billions of photos from social media. Clearview AI, the facial recognition company that boasted of scrapping billions of photos from the internet, is being investigated by data privacy watchdogs in the UK and Australia. Trading, underwriting softened profit plunge for some U.S. banks. Trading and underwriting revenue could provide some comfort for big Wall Street banks that begin reporting results next week, although second quarter profits likely plunged because of the coronavirus pandemic impact on lending. All right, stocks are mixed. Asian stocks are up. European stocks and U.S. futures are mixed. Moves are generally small, with the S&P 500 futures pointing to a 0.02% advance at the open, and most European indexes moving less than 0.5%. So everyone's stuck in a holding pattern. Now, supposedly, well, I'll get to that in a second. All right, earnings coming in. We got Delta Airlines and Kaufman at Broad are coming in. On the economic front, the USA EIA natural gas storage change and U.S. initial jobless claims are due. U.S. initial jobless claims came out at 8:30, and it was better than expected. Looks like they're expecting something 18 million plus, and instead we got like 18 million even. Whatever. It's still ridiculous any way you count it, and there's no way they can sugarcoat it or try to make it sound better than what it really is. The U.S. jobless situation is still mad dismal. All right, mad dismal. All right. Something I want to bring to your forefront here that one of our traders in the trading room brought to our attention. But congratulations to everyone this morning who is killing it with the pulse waves, especially in the crypto market. Congratulations to you guys. Ride those pulse waves, and those of you trading the forex, same thing. The system has been looking quite a genius. That's what's up. We're getting production even on this what is it, the South African joint pair. It's great. What can I say? You know, I worked really hard. I was late yesterday doing the end of day report because I was working on the pulse. So that's what we do, man. All right, something I need to bring your attention that one of the traders brought to me, and it's kind of disturbing. So peep it. All right, stablecoin issuer Sentry has confirmed they froze an Ethereum address holding $100,000 at the request from law enforcement. So a heads up to you crypto people out there, you crypto traders. Sentry, the company that issues the stablecoin USD coin, ticker USDC, has blacklisted an Ethereum address holding $100,000 in USDC in response to a law enforcement request. In the first, it says in the first of its kind, the address had a blacklist address investor function call on June the 16th of 2020. It's not yet clear the reason behind the law enforcement request, but Century Consortium, founded by Circle and Coinbase, did release a statement confirming the blacklisting. Quote, Century can confirm it blacklisted an address in response to a request from law enforcement. While we cannot comment on the specifics of the law enforcement request, Century complies with binding court orders that have appropriate jurisdiction over the organization, end quote. Although Circle spokesman Josh Hawkins said he could not provide any specifics about the blacklisting, it appears the address could be involved in other cryptocurrency theft. In the comment section of a different address, a user claims the owner of the blacklisted address stole other tokens from them. Quote, "Hello, unknown thief. You are in contact with this ETH address, and you stole 10,000 loop ring coin, which is equivalent of 750 euros, from my wallet. I am now giving you a chance to send the 10,000 loop ring coin back to me. You already know my ETH address. If you do not do this, I'll report you anywhere with your 2 known addresses." Last week, USDC broke $1 billion in market cap, making it the second largest stablecoin behind Tether USDT. And Twitter users liking stablecoins to centralized fiat currencies, suggesting what can happen to USDC can happen to any other stablecoin. Another user stated that the DAI, excuse me, could fix this issue of centralized control. However, they were also rebutted with the fact that DIA is backed by the USDC and other centralized controlled digital currencies. Normally, funds held on the Ethereum blockchain are controlled by the address owner. However, in relation to USDC, an address can be blacklisted, which restricts them from executing transactions, sending or receiving through the USDC smart contract. Although technically reversible, Circle's website warns that blacklisted addresses may be wholly and permanently unrecoverable. I repeat, Circle's website warns that blacklisted addresses may be wholly and permanently unrecoverable. This has raised concerns among the community surrounding censorship, with a user lamenting on Reddit, quote, "Central government control and censorship is just going to get worse," end quote. Yeah, that's some real stuff right there, y'all. So heads up on that. All right, so I understand that this person is believed it's all it's all about fraud and them, but just think, I didn't even know that you could do that. So law enforcement can stretch their long arm of the law and freeze your account indefinitely, making it so that you can't even have access to your own money. So there's something to think about there, folks. Just something to think about. All right, so let's put on the big boy and big girl pants just for a moment. Not going to keep y'all long today because I have contractors coming. All right, let's see. Let's look at this right here real quick. Almost 50 million Americans have now filed for first-time jobless benefits since the lockdowns began. All right. Despite the hope restoring non-farm payrolls recovery and the overhyped bounce in retail sales, ignoring the lack of a V in industrial production and soft sentiment surveys, which are biased by their nature as diffusion indices to bounce back hard, for the 16th week in a row, over 1 million Americans filed for unemployment benefits for the first time. That's 1.314 million, which was slightly better than the 1.375 expected. All right, so Texas, New Jersey, and Louisiana suffered the biggest increases in jobless claims in the prior week. That brings the 16-week total to 49.993 million, dramatically more than at any period in American history. However, as the charts show, the second derivative is slowing down drastically, even though the 1.314 million rise this last week is still higher than any other week in history outside of the pandemic. Continuing claims did drop very modestly, but hardly a signal that reopening is accelerating, and definitely not confirming the payrolls or sentiment data. Now, as was noted previously, what is most disturbing is that in the last 16 weeks, far more than twice as many Americans have filed for unemployment than jobs gained during the last decade since the end of the Great Recession. We got 22.13 million gained in a decade and 49.993 million lost in 16 weeks. Again, so in a decade, you created 22 million jobs, but in just 16 weeks, or the equivalent of 4 months, you lost almost 50 million jobs. So you erased like a decade and a half worth of, actually, make that, no, it's not. It's 2 decades. Technically speaking, you've erased 20 years of jobs. Because if you combine and say, okay, so let's just say the U.S. has been able to create 22 million jobs every 10 years. Well, we lost 50, so that's twice that number. So we've lost more jobs in the past 20 years than what were created. We've lost that in 16 weeks. All right, so you got to keep things in perspective. Worse still, the final numbers will likely be worsened due to the bailout itself and its fiscal cliff. As a reminder, the Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Security CARES Act, passed on March the 27th, could contribute to new records being reached in coming weeks as it increases eligibility for jobless claims to self-employed and gig workers and extends the maximum number of weeks that one can receive benefits and provides an additional $600 per week until July 31st. Finally, it is notable we have lost 378 jobs for every confirmed U.S. death from the COVID-19. So 132 over 309. So I'm sorry, no, that's 132,309. The question is, was it worth it? Was the shutdown worth it? Now, the next thing you got to think about is, what happens when the $600 CARES Act bonuses stop flowing? Large, enormous questions. All right? Just saying. Just saying. All right. Let's see. There was something else I want to talk to y'all about. Oh, yeah. In case you didn't hear about this one, Walgreens is dragging down the Dow as its second quarter sales slump. Therefore, the company is cutting 4,000 jobs. I told you guys they were coming for your jobs. So now Walgreens is going to cut 4,000. 4,000 jobs going bye-bye. See you later, and that's it. And if you didn't think that was bad enough, California is utterly failing as 2 million residents waiting for unemployment checks. Approximately 2 million Californians are still waiting for their unemployment checks from the first 3 months of the government-mandated COVID-19 lockdowns, according to the San Jose Mercury News, which cites government data. Unemployed residents are complaining of clogged phone lines and outdated technology at the Employment Development Department, EDD, despite Governor Gavin Newsom promising to increase staffing among other reforms. Quote, I have done just about everything I know how to do as a public official to make things work, but my colleagues, my staff, my constituents, and I are at our wits' end, end quote, said State Assembly member David Chu from San Francisco in a tweet. Quote, I know people who are on hold every day and can't get a response, said San Francisco resident Armando Domalinsky, a workforce development expert who co-created a Facebook group for unemployed residents. The mounting claims arrive as some county and state government agencies are again moving to shut down an array of business activities as fears escalate that the coronavirus outbreak might intensify. Again, might intensify. Not has, not is, but might intensify. A collective decision that could cause additional workers to lose their jobs. That's right. You got people thinking about locking back down again. Quote, I'm terribly disappointed. The EDD has let us down terribly, said Rhonda Diaz, a San Jose resident and daycare teacher. Diaz was temporarily laid off and later returned to her job, but it reduced hours. The website doesn't work and you can't get through on the phone. People have to pay their taxes, then they can't help us. And that's end quote. Over the 3 months of March, April, and May, 5.01 million California workers filed initial claims for unemployment benefits, and the EDD completed first-time payments to just 3.13 million workers. So out of the 5 million that filed, only 3 million people got their payments. So you still got 2 million people that have not received their payments, which is really sad. Statistics compiled by the U.S. Labor Department show that points to a grim gap between the initial claims and the first-time payments, leaving 1.88 million claims unfiled and suggest a mammoth backlog of workers who have yet to receive any benefits despite being out of work for weeks or months. San Jose Mercury News. Quote, you can't get a clear answer from anybody with the EDD, said Lori Nelson, a resident of Union City who has been unemployed since March. You go week after week trying to certify your claim and get some sort of unemployment payment. If I hadn't gotten loans from family members, I would be out on the street. I wouldn't be able to pay my rent, end quote. The backlog was already horrendous before the lockdowns. The backlog was already horrendous before the lockdowns, which began in March, with 1.44 million unpaid workers waiting for checks from the EDD. By the end of April, the backlog grew to 1.75 million. Today, the backlog stands at just under 2 million. These numbers show what we have suspected all along. EDD is utterly failing millions of Californians, said Chu, who added EDD's failure has real human consequences. Excuse me. Californians have depleted their life savings, gone into severe debt, and been unable to feed their families because of bureaucratic incompetence. We continue to work around the clock 7 days a week to expand our capacity for processing this unprecedented demand for unemployment benefits as quickly as possible, EDD spokesman Barry White insisted. And that's the opening bell for those who need to handle some business. Quote, we are enhancing our technology systems to increase efficiencies and have already hired or have offers extended to more than 4,000 new staff needed as part of an expedited mass hiring effort with the increased federal funding we've received, end quote. The agency has promised to prioritize older claims from March and April, but gave no indication when the backlog would be cleared. California isn't the only state to face unemployment woes, as the state of Washington has called in the National Guard to help process thousands of unemployment claims. This comes after state officials stopped unemployment benefits after they were tricked out of hundreds of millions of dollars in a Nigerian scam. Wait a minute. You know we missed nothing here. This comes after state officials stopped unemployment benefits. We talk about the state of Washington after they were tricked out of hundreds of millions of dollars in a Nigerian scam. I go break your dollar. For those who do not know what that reference is, go ahead and type that into your YouTube search bar. Type in I go break your dollar, and you will see what I'm talking about. I cannot believe what you trying to tell me that your elected officials in the state of Washington is that dumb, stupid, and incompetent that a state got bamboozled by the Nigerian scam. Where in the heck have you been? The Nigerian scam is triple OG going back to the 90s, to the advent of email. What are you talking about? Good grief. Yo, that's incredible. And you know, they will never, ever, 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 never, ever, 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 never, ever, 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 never, ever find the individuals responsible. I go chop your dollar. Okay, thank you. That's it. Yep. Thanks, man. Thanks. There you go. Type it in. Type in I go chop your dollar or I go break your dollar. You'll see. It'll come up. The video will come up. I'm in awe. I didn't even know this. I didn't hear this on no other news outlet. What in the world is going on in the state of Washington? The state fell for the Nigerian email scam. Not only that, but it said they got took. You got broke. They broke you for hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Yo, I know those dudes are on an island somewhere chilling. That is the biggest take they have ever gotten. That is the biggest lick they have ever gotten, the biggest score. They broke the state of Washington for hundreds of millions of dollars. Come on, man. The state don't know about the Nigerian scam? I can't believe this. All right. Okay, my contractors are here, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up and go. But remember, you folks, come on over to PulseWaveTrading.com. You know what it is. Don't be like the Californians right now that are suffering. If they would have came over to PulseWaveTrading.com, they could have built themselves another income stream and not had to rely solely on the government. All right, that's why I preach this every day on this channel. Stop playing around and come learn how to trade, man. Doesn't matter how much little money you got. Come learn this stuff, man. So you can be independent and not be waiting in the wind, twisting in the wind. All right. Okay. Got to cut it short. Got to go. I know. But we'll be back for the end of the day report. All right. So remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I am out. Peace.